The question, what is the worst thing about insomnia? About a month before I turned 19, I was sleeping around 7 hours per night. And then, it started. Almost every night, I'd lose a little bit more sleep on one end or the other, either taking a little longer to fall asleep or waking up a little more quickly. This went on for what had begun to seem like a lifetime. In reality, it went on for about 5 months by the time it hit its peak. By that point, I was sleeping from about 6:30 a.m. to a little bit before 7:00 a.m. I know that couldn't have been the only sleep I was getting, as I'll get to shortly. But it was the only sleep I was getting when I was trying to sleep. It lasted at that level for a couple of weeks. Then, over roughly the next 2 months, I gradually returned to sleeping about 6.57 hours per night. This is what I can describe of my insomnia experience, from mere annoyance to I really don't know how long I can take this pointless extra time. At first, having a little bit more time at night with an alert mind seemed almost to be a good thing. I was actually a bit more productive at the very beginning. But very quickly, the cumulative sleep loss meant that my mind was never sharp enough to be truly productive, and that extra time at night was the worst. There was no pleasure in anything. Every activity was simply a struggle to go through the motions. It became difficult even to eat. Everything took on a sense of unreality. It was almost like I knew that I could reach out my hand in any direction and find that everything I saw was just an image on a screen. Most of my senses felt dulled, particularly hearing. At times, it was like everything was coming from the other end of a tunnel. At other times, it was more like I was wearing earmuffs that just fuzzed everything. Confusion. During the worst couple of weeks of it, I experienced gaps every day, often more than one. More than once in that period, I was aware of being at home in the morning, and then, seemingly a blink of an eye later, I was in my morning history class at my college, a 40-minute drive away. I didn't know if my mind had been on autopilot or if my short-term, a few seconds, memory during the drive simply failed to encode as long-term memory. For all I knew, I had driven in my sleep. I knew that it could get better any time, maybe tonight. But I stopped believing that it ever would get better. When my sleeping pattern finally corrected itself, it was like I was coming back to life. But I didn't realize that there was one, more lasting, effect that the experience had had on me. It's been just under 12 years since then. But still, anytime I go 2 nights in a row with a little bit of trouble sleeping, I have to shut down the fear that it's going to happen again, because that kind of fear creates stress that can cause it to happen again.